if you want me to be your Yoda, if you want me to be giving you spiritual direction and all that, you must be utterly transparent with me about everything that's going on in your mind and heart, your desires, your fears, any mystical experiences you have in prayer, your temptations, no matter how embarrassing they might be. I can't help you unless you're transparent with me, right? And so there's a profound humility right there on the part of the disciple that's required. And I like to tell my students that kind of transparency, because I know psychologists would agree. I always tell my students, if you're afraid to talk about something, a temptation that you're experiencing or a fear that you're experiencing or something like that, it has power over you. When we keep these things to ourselves, thinking no one is going to understand, or I'll be shamed if I say this out loud, that's when we become easily manipulated. And that's when we start to really go downhill in the spiritual life. I tell people that that's why the Catholic sacrament of confession to a priest is so important, because if you find yourself with the humility and the transparency to share what's really going on in your mind and your heart, it kind of loses its power.
If you create an environment in your um, organization, in your um, uh, with your friends and colleagues, where you would be openly prescribing for that. Because, for instance, like, I mean, maybe it's more of an academic example, but in academia, even though we are supposed to be open to correcting our opinions and mistakes in light of new evidence, because no scientific findings are definite, often you find exactly the opposite, that people are very confrontational when you start asking them, well, why couldn't I replicate your study? Right? And so, like, working on that, at least in the academic setting, has been very liberating for me, where, for instance, I would say, look, please tell me if I'm wrong. And yeah, I will probably be reacting negatively first because I need to process it. But at least we have this kind of shared ideals of, we want to pursue truth, we want to be willing to revise our beliefs, and we recognize that all of us are limited.